After Dante rescued me from Ian and Lucy, life became different, like a dream and a nightmare all at once. Dante had always been protective, but after that day, he became even more so. His estate became my world, and every inch of it reminded me of how deeply he cared for me. But it also felt like a gilded cage at times. Dante insisted on knowing where I was every second of the day. If I left the room, his eyes would track me, and if I needed anything outside the estate, his men would make it happen. It was sweet, but suffocating too. Even a trip to the garden required a bodyguard hovering nearby. Still, despite the danger and his over-the-top protectiveness, I never felt more loved. Our daily routine was simple yet extraordinary. Mornings, I'd find Dante already up, going through his business, making deals I didn't fully understand. But when we'd meet for breakfast on the terrace, he'd drop everything and focus entirely on me. We'd talk about small things, how I wanted to redecorate the library or what new book I was reading. His estate was sprawling, with endless rooms to explore, and it kept me busy. The real world outside the walls seemed like a distant memory. Then, one evening, while we were curled up in front of the fire, Dante did something unexpected. He proposed. The look in his eyes, so intense, so full of love, I couldn't say no. He slipped the ring on my finger, and from that moment on, I became Mrs. Moretti in the making. Planning the wedding was my way of keeping myself busy. Between the estate's walls, the planning, and reconnecting with my family over the phone, it felt like a piece of my old life was sneaking back in. Dante, of course, had the final say on every detail of the wedding, from the location to the guest list. He didn't want me to stress, and honestly, I didn't mind, he only wanted me safe. Every call from my family, every chat with friends was carefully monitored, but they had no idea what my life had become. I couldn't tell them everything, not with Dante's world so intertwined with ours. The day of the wedding arrived in a flurry of excitement and nerves. I had never seen Dante so tense. His men were on high alert, scanning every guest, every shadow. I didn't think anything of it at first. I thought it was just Dante being Dante, always cautious. But then, during the ceremony, everything changed. A gunshot rang out, and my heart stopped. Dante, my Dante, was almost shot. I couldn't process what was happening. His men quickly subdued the shooter, but not before chaos erupted around us. It turned out the gunman wasn't some random hitman, he was someone from Dante's cartel, a traitor, someone he trusted. I saw the fury in Dante's eyes, but there wasn't time to process it. He grabbed my hand, and we were whisked away before I could even blink. For weeks, we went under the radar, hiding out in one of his remote safe houses. I couldn't leave, couldn't go outside. It was just us. Alone. And in the middle of it all, I found out I was pregnant. That moment, when I told Dante, was everything. He looked at me with such pure joy, his usual intensity softening as he placed his hand on my belly. We were going to be a family. The months of hiding passed, and we started to adjust to this quieter life. No cartel business, no danger, just us, waiting for our baby to arrive. Dante, for all his ruthlessness, was surprisingly tender during this time. He'd hold me close at night, whispering that he'd keep us safe no matter what. But even with the baby coming, the world outside our little bubble never stopped turning. One night, as I sat alone watching the news, I saw it, a gang war. Dante's cartel was in the middle of it, and they reported many deaths. My stomach dropped. I tried calling him, but his phone went straight to voicemail. I couldn't breathe. Hours passed, and finally, Dante came home. Blood on his shirt, his face hard with emotion. But he was alive. That's all that mattered. Weeks later, I gave birth to our baby, a beautiful, healthy boy. Dante was there, right by my side, his face full of wonder as he held our son for the first time. It was surreal, seeing this powerful, feared man melt into a doting father. Our life may never be normal, but at that moment, nothing else mattered. We had each other, and now we had our son. And so, despite everything, despite the danger, the betrayals, and the chaos of Dante's world, we were happy. We had found a way to carve out a life, to build a family amidst the madness. Every day might bring new threats, but we faced them together. That's what love is, right? It's not just the easy moments, but the hard ones too. And with Dante, I knew we'd survive anything, together. The end.